Right, a lot of styles of martial art talk about sinking your weight on the end of a technique, okay? They always talk in karate about as you land with it or finish a technique, try and sink a little bit. In some forms of taekwondo, particularly ITF taekwondo, they do what they call the sine wave, where they come up and at the end there's a very deliberate sinking of the weight, okay? Now, just to explain a little bit more what that's about, we're all used to or should be used to the idea of when you hit a target, you trying to use as much body weight as you can, okay? So I've talked about it earlier on. So when I talked about turning the hip, all the body weight's going forward into the target. Now, I don't have a weight with me, so I'm just going to use a book as an example. If I hold that book there, it weighs, well, whatever it weighs, it's quite light, so it doesn't weigh very much. If I take it up there and I drop it, just for a split second, it feels heavier when it reaches my hand because of the kinetic energy into it, the effects of gravity and the kinetic energy that this is carrying. As it hits my hand, just for a split second, it feels heavier, okay? So when we do a technique, if we take a reverse punch, for example, and we sink on the end of it, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a really deep, really struggling with it. Just a little fraction to sink down. Effectively, we are increasing our body weight at the moment of impact, so we're hitting a person with more body weight, okay? Or effectively with more body weight. You've only got so much body weight, you can't increase it. You're just using it more efficiently, so it feels more heavy, okay? Okay, in the first module, we talked about the breathing. I went into quite a lot of detail about the diaphragmatic breathing. In this module, we've talked about whip-like mechanics, okay, and the mechanics of the body, how the body moves. Now, okay, over time, you'll learn to absorb both sets of principles into your training. But one thing exercise I like to do with my guys now and again, we start to incorporate the two together, is what I call a sai with structure. Now, when you're stressed up, okay, your body tends to tense up, okay, all muscles get knotted. When you sigh, it's one of the body's ways of releasing tension from the body and relaxing your body again. The only thing is when you sigh, you tend to slump. Okay, the back goes into a C shape, the shoulders tend to round off, your chest goes concave. Yes, you release some of the tension from the body, but you tend to sort of slump with it. Okay, now what I like to think of is use that same mechanics of releasing the tension from your body, but keep the structure. So if you think of a sigh, but I don't concave my chest. I don't put my spine into a C shape, okay? I don't round the shoulders, just, okay? So I'm releasing the tension from my body, okay? But I'm keeping the basic structure there, okay? Now, I'm gonna look at the first four movements of our first kata in Shotokan Karate, which what we call Kion Kata, which is very similar to many other styles, and I think Taekwondo tend to have, or some versions of Taekwondo have this kata as well, or pattern as you call it. So I'm just going to look at the first four movements to demonstrate that. So as I go into the first one, the lower block, as I turn, that sigh feeling. Okay, it's a little bit faster than a sigh, but I'm releasing the tension from my body as the hand shoots down, okay? I'm lowering my body weight. We talked about sinking the body weight before, okay? If ever you've tried to lift somebody who's drunk, they're like a dead weight. It's very difficult to lift somebody who's completely, totally relaxed. They can like pour between your arms, okay? So again, it's that relaxed, okay? Almost like, that kind of feeling as you do the kata. So if I just do that a bit faster, speed up the breath a little bit, but still keep that release of tension feeling as I do the first 4 movements, okay? Just watch. Okay, so hopefully you see that's nice and relaxed. I've got that heavy feeling. Okay, everything nice and relaxed. Okay, and it's a feeling of releasing tension, which is just the opposite of what we're very often taught. Very often we're taught really big tension on the end of it. No, I'm looking at the opposite of that. I'm looking at releasing the tension. Let the structure do the work for you, rather than the muscular effort do the work for you. Earlier on, I used the example of someone lifting weights. Okay, when they lift the weight up, the structure holds the weight. Okay, the alignment of the bones holds the weight, and you only need enough muscular strength to keep the structure in place. Okay, so when it's here, yes, I need the muscular strength to keep the weight in place. There, I'm using the structure rather than the muscular strength. And that's what we're looking to do here, is use the structure, use the body mechanics, use the breath to get that whip-like feeling. Okay, so again, with the breathing coming from the diaphragm. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I mean. Like I said, I call it a sai with structure, and sometimes it's a good exercise just do the whole thing completely softly and slowly, okay? Particularly if you're an instructor, get your class to do it, to really slow it down. One way to help get the feeling. Once you've got the feeling, it's easy to speed it up. But to get the feeling, try doing it kind of this way. Okay, that kind of speed, that kind of relaxation, to get that feeling of the sigh, the feeling of the relaxation, the feeling of the drop in the weight, okay? And with the punch, same at the end there. Okay, so you're dropping on it with that sigh feeling. Because when you sigh again, everything slumps downwards. It all goes down, okay? Nothing comes up, it all goes down. So we're using that feeling, and again, like I say, good way to start people off. Okay, we're nice and relaxed. Then when you get used to that, keep the same feeling, but speed it up. Okay, it's the same feeling, just a little bit faster. And it's not about muscular contraction, okay? Like I said earlier on, I never teach tension on the end. I teach torsion, maybe, but that torsion partly comes from the speed of movement and stretching the arm out. And the faster you go, the easier it is to get the arm taut on the end. And it's like snapping the belt. It's taut right on the moment of impact at the end. And that's what we're looking for here.